Hey everybody, how you doing? And you might be saying, "Hey, how come you're in the dark?" And I'm almost in the dark. I've got one light on to make a point because earlier this week, Google announced that it was not going to show basically ethnic events in its calendar, like specifically Black History Month. Seriously. And they claimed it was because of a federal rule that they could be easily fought. And I thought about it for 60 seconds and I was sad through the 60 seconds. And then afterward, I came to this realization. Wait a minute. I own a black media company. I can talk about what I want to talk about, including Black History Month. No one can stop me from praising diversity, calling for diversity, talking about the importance of diversity in the news reporting, the importance of diversity in policy formation, the importance of diversity in the views of people, because let's face it, we're all diverse. We have 8 billion diverse points in this earth. 8 billion. What do I mean? I mean that every person is occupying a unique space in time. If you are sitting over there, or if you're over there, or if you're watching me over here, wherever you are unique from somebody else. You can't change that. You cannot occupy the exact place in space and time that someone else holds. It is impossible. It is impossible. Now you can say, what about an alternative universe? But think about it. If you have to say alternative, what does that mean? It means that it means other. It means an option. It means different. Okay? That means that I am in my own unique place in space and time. And again, there's nothing that anyone can do about that. Nothing. And that's a good thing. Okay? It's a very good thing. Nobody can do anything about that. So I try to report the news from my unique place in space and time, and from my place that has informed me about how the world has worked from my perspective, from what I've experienced, from my life, right? What I learned over the years, over the decades, what I learned then, how it affected me today. All of that I try to bring into to what I'm thinking about. And then also what the news is. And from my perspective, what it looks like. That's called news commentary, which is actually an industry today. Okay? That's very important to me. So once I begin to think about the Google move, and then once I started to consider my responsibility as a black media owner, 60% of Zennie, 62 Media, I started then to think about how other ethnicities seem to prize their own media over us, African Americans. There was a day when I was coming up when publications like Ebony and Essence were the gold standard for black media. If you wanted to find out what we were thinking, that's where you went. It doesn't matter where you sat, because you could be a black Muslim and you had a place in Ebony. You were mentioned. You could be a black radical. Same thing. Now, the circumstances under which how that developed were not good. They were rampant racism, to the point where folks who looked like me were dying and being killed. Fortunately, my parents owned a 2-flat in Chicago when I was born, and a Lincoln and a Cadillac, and that was before the passage of the Civil Rights Amendment in 1964. I was born in 62. So I knew what it was like to grow up that way, and that informs me. But what's happened over time is that we have spawned a generation that doesn't appreciate the need for a black-owned media. Black-owned media is only 4% of the media in the country. It should be 10%. Care to try for 20? And the primary reason isn't because of whitey and racism, so much as it is our lack of interest in supporting other black media. Now, you might shoot back, well, Zennie, there's Stephen A. Smith, or there was Oprah, or there's BET. And I would say, okay, let's take those. Stephen A. Smith works for ABC Cap Cities. That's white-owned. Oprah, I get it. Oprah is black-owned media. But her presence from a standpoint of news reporting is zero. Zero. BET, at one point, BET had a very strong news department. I know because they were at the 2012 Democratic National Convention in Charlotte and had a huge presence in the ballroom. I haven't seen that. And if I watch BET now, I don't see news. The Griot has went down. Roland Martin is now talking about the shortage of black media outlets like I am. But see, I want to team up with people. I don't hear from Roland, even though Roland met me when I was on the Paul Lazan show that he took over as host because she was out on leave. And I was on with him twice. I'm very proud of what Roland has done. I talk about him when I can. But do I hear him say, hey, let's get Zennie Abraham's perspective on blank or blank? Nope. Now, on the other hand, have I invited Roland on to talk about anything yet? Not yet. But I'm saying this because I will. I will. Although I take that back. There was a time I did reach out to him, and what happened was I forgot about it. It was so long ago that now I remember the frustration I had in not hearing back from him. And I think I masked it. Nope. So anyway, I masked it. But that was that, okay? And then I think about other examples like Chinese media and their supporters. Let's say in Oakland, all right? Former Mayor Jean Quan, when she was mayor, was in a video, she didn't make it, that is on Zennie 62, or the vlog report Zennie 62, this YouTube channel now. If you want to find it, you can type Jean Quan racist, because that was what I was saying about her at the time, because what she put out was so disgusting to me. And what she said, but it was true. She said, from her perspective, that Chinese media was the best media, and because it did the most work and research. In other words, Chinese people are the more well-read, is what she said. In other words, they were smarter. Now, if you took her words and removed Chinese and put in white, you would have immediately branded her as a white supremacist. No question whatsoever. But I put that out, and I put it out there while I was a City Brights blogger with the San Francisco Chronicle. I put out that vlog, and you would have thought it would have caused some attraction. It got none. It landed literally with a thud. And I thought about and I thought about how my last name's Abraham, which is Jewish. And back in 1993, I got a letter from Hillel, a Jewish organization, a Jewish community organization of sorts. And in the back of the newsletter were these ways that you could have grants sent to you based on your last name. It had to be Jewish. And I was floored. I have never seen a black equivalent. So my point is, other ethnic groups take care of their own. I'm not talking about dating outside your race and all that stuff, which there's no such thing as race anyway. No, I'm talking about pride of who you are, even if, say, your wife is white, or your husband is black and your woman, or whatever the combination. That's not my point. My point is having enough pride in others who are making their way, starting businesses, that you give them a chance, you talk them up, and you support them. But in news, what I find is that with respect to reputation management, there are folks who look like me who I think they expect me to give the free content version. Our service is expensive. If you're having a problem with Google News or something, or just the news in general, that's including social media today, 63% of news that we consume is really social media, you call us. We'll fix it for you. But I find sometimes I have to adjust my prices, which is fine. But what I don't like is when a person says, hey, you're too expensive, and then I adjust my prices, but they went to somebody anyway, and they actually paid more to the white person. Okay? And it's not, and the nature of the problem is such that what they did is not going to solve their problem. It's not going to solve their problem. All right? There's more to the story, but I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to give away any identities. So what I'm talking about is we need to support our media, because, and Roland Martin said this in a video I just saw. He said that we're going to turn around and realize that stories about us are being told by somebody else, and they don't represent the truth. And we need to tell that truth, be it especially about ourselves. There should be a law called the right to be seen. No one should be able to go in and manipulate your Google data so you can't be seen, unless, of course, you've done something obscene. That should be against the law. Everybody has the right to be seen, which means that people should have the right not to be seen, which is the case in the European Union. There also should be grants for Black-owned media. I'm a non-for-profit. I do not like the nonprofit structure. And the reason is that I believe that you should make tools that generate a profit to keep your business going, so that you're not caught in trying to cut corners and lie about your spending in order to maintain a nonprofit status in order to avoid taxes. What we do in terms of reputation management is a form of marketing, and because of that, it's a write-off for the client. And we have to do it because it fuels our storytelling, because, as everybody knows, and Roland was talking about this, a number of people, you cannot finance the production of media on ad revenue alone and pay people a living wage. It simply isn't a sustainable model anymore. It doesn't work. That's why I moved into reputation management, because all news reporting is reputation management anyway. Somebody's writing about you, you don't know. It's their interpretation of how you did something. And so you're stuck with whoever they are and whatever their isms are. And if they say that they're journalists and therefore don't have any, that's the time you need to not believe them and watch your back around them, because it's not true. That is a total lie. It is impossible for a journalist to be objective. The mere decision of something to cover is an expression of value structure. And when they do that, when that person does that, that's it. I don't care if the job is handed to that person. They could choose not to write about that something. Okay? They could choose to do that. And depending on the subject matter, they're going to write it a different way depending on what they know. There's some people who shouldn't be writing certain things, but hey, an editor gives them an assignment. Maybe you should say, you know what? I'm not the right one for that. But you're stuck expressing a value structure whether you reject it or not. Because if you accept it, it means it's a story you want to do. If you reject it, it means a story you don't want to do. Boom. That's your value structure. So instead of trying to run away from having a value structure, just admit to you that you have it. Find out what it is. Know yourself, know your heart. Find out your place and be that person. And while I'm at it, learn tech. Learn how to write in PHP, even at a rudimentary level. JavaScript, learn how to at least recognize it. Learn how to recognize code. HTML in particular. HTML is not hard to learn. Learn HTML5. These are the building blocks for platforms in digital communications with respect to the web. Learn app-based programming as well. Learn how to make an app, like on your iPhone. These are the nuts and bolts of true news production today. Understand how to get rid of a bot attack on your site. If you don't know how to do that, you're screwed, and so are your clients. That should be fundamental. I know how to do it. Do you? Okay? News is a complicated approach today, and it's so much fun. It's not getting out there and pretending like you're Walter Cronkite. No. It's actually building a platform that you can write on and others want to write on, and then building another and another and another. Maybe you design it so that, in our case, the content is interchangeable. Our home market, Zennie 62 Media. Everything starts with a smartphone, like here, which becomes a YouTube channel, which becomes a website blog post on our WordPress blogs, which is then propagated through our social media platforms. That is an approach I pioneered a long time ago. I call it web portability. You're taking a piece of information and you're making it portable around the web. You can text it to somebody. You can put it out on Twitter. You can put it on Threads, all over the place. And I prefer that it's done automatically. That's my jam. What's yours? Okay. But I want to know who black media players are out there. We need to have black media hackathons, it galls me that we have talk about a blacks in tech function. It has to degenerate into a dance party. Seriously? That's like a Caribbean thing. I don't want a dance party at a tech event. I want a tech event. If I want a dance party, you know what? Throw an after party someplace else. Okay. I want to see where we're coming up and we're inventing things out there. And I say I want to see it because I know people are doing it out there. And if you're watching this, mention it in the comments or send me an email or a text. 510-517-7565. Same with women. Women, however, are really, in general, kicking it. I mean, it just, wow, in terms of corporations, media corporations, approaches, blogs, mating news and marketing, influencer work, all that. Yeah, nice stuff, okay? But black folks, support your own media. Athletes, black athletes, hey, I know you've got platforms, some of you out there working on everything. Join Zennie 62 Media as an investor, because you all need the reputation management, work, and power that we provide. We need your money. Okay? Yeah. So, all right. I'll see you all later. Subscribe to Zennie 62 on YouTube and bookmark. I should now say subscribe to the vlog report with Zennie 62, which I'll talk about more another time. Bookmark ZennieReport.com. I'll see you.